Saves Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down.
Moves right here, makes the first guy miss. The spin move at the last second. Bro. And then, what, Tiki, you're right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, we've been waiting for it for a week, and apparently a victory does cure all ills. I think the commish is back and ready to get back to normal business this week. Commish, where you at? You out there, buddy? He should be in a better mood this week. Hello, Commish. How are you? I'm assuming you're pretty good.
Happy to be back in the cockpit. Happy to be here.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Talk to me, Goose. Okay, I like it.
Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose. Ready to go. Ready to go for another week recap. We are a bit late. Sorry for what happened last week, guys. I tried to tell some people that they wouldn't like me when I was angry, and they didn't listen. But hey, we're back this week, baby.
Sounds like a sorry, not sorry situation to me, but okay.
Not sorry at all. But hey, I'm sure everybody was so excited for me to get back, so I'm just going to go right to it. You know what I mean?
Do your thing. It's your world. We're all just trying to live in it.
It's the Week 10 recap, and we will start out with GM of the Week. And I got to say this, bad guy.
Yeah.
7 points shy of 200, dude? I mean,
actually, I was very disappointed. I was thinking about the record. I wanted the record.
I was just going to say it could have opted you in realistically for the biggest disappointment award. You know, you had 193 points. That's a lot. It's definitely the highest this year. But you had 102 points between 2 players.
Yeah.
2 players, right? A convincing win over the former multi-time champion Flip-Flops.
And you're welcome to the rest of the league.
Yeah, hey, definitely. He's not that big of a win, but hey, definitely one would say that would earn you the top spot on this award for this week, right? I mean, we've only had one other person in the league win GM of the Week award more than once this season. And honestly, it's someone you would really consider wouldn't have won it more than once or even at all. So,
I don't expect to win it a second time considering how anti-Brown this administration is in this league.
But this week, bad guy, I gotta tell you, after that performance in Week 10, you, sir, are still not the GM of the week. I mean,
I'm not surprised.
You played a 3-6 team at the time. Other than that, I mean, other than those 2 gargantuan spots on your roster, they put up 91. The rest of the team only put up 91. I mean, let me cheer you up with this, okay? I'm going to cheer you up with this. What are your 2 best players on your fantasy team like Pirates? Why are they like Pirates?
I don't know
because
why.
They both end in R.
Okay.
No. There were 2 other guys this week in Week 10 that I feel were much more deserving of this weekly tradition, unlike any other.
Okay.
They both have guys. Sorry, they both played teams that were sniffing the playoffs like Aaron digging for truffles. And with wins, they would have put themselves both in the hunt for one of those coveted 6 playoff spots.
They are coveted.
That's why this week, as Comistro of your mom, as we inch closer to those playoff weeks, I am introducing something brand new to the Yomo.
Okay.
And no, it's not what you're thinking. It's not the Assister Award kiss for a tie. Done that. Nope. This is dedicated to a special feeling that I'm pretty sure a couple of you out there have experienced in your lifetime, especially when it's cold or that one time in college No, this week we have the Sharon Cox Award for
Ooh.
Double GM of the Week. Sharon
Okay.
Cox. And Marcus, all nepotism aside,
Yeah.
I gotta tell the little Bronny this.
Why do I have to wear this stupid thing? Because I want you to make a good impression on your first day of work. I worked hard to get you this job. But Papa, I don't even want to be a basketball player. I want to be an artist. Then you should have stayed in college for art. I told you if you dropped out, you had to come work with me. But Kanye West, Jonah Hill, and Rosie O'Donnell all dropped out of college and they're artists. They're all just a bunch of fat lesbos. Get real, Bronny. It's time for you to get a real job and be an NBA player. Yes, Papa. Great. Now let's get out there and throw me an alley-oop.
Hey, for those of you who don't know, nepotism is when someone gets to a point in their life and they only become successful because they're related or know someone of a higher position.
Yeah, I really wanted to get into that group. I don't know
But
anybody.
Jacob, Michael, Jordan, Murray, just when I think your embarrassment of a roster couldn't get any worse, Joe Burrow shows up and week after week, you win 2 in a row and you totally redeem yourself.
Yeah.
And totally redeem yourself.
He's right
You
in the
have-
thick of it.
You had 4 wins in your rookie campaign last year. Now you're up to 6. You're starting to be
Progress.
you're starting to turn around like the Redskins right now. You know what? I take back what I said a couple of weeks ago. You don't have to make your team name nephew now because you are bowl eligible, son. I've been on that.
Okay.
And Jake, just like your Sharon Cox Eskimo brother this week,
Ooh.
it's none other than the guy that needs a ride back and forth to his GM box every week. And the only triple award winner of GM of the week, Big Bear.
Quite frankly, he is the only triple award winner. We have never seen anything like it. It's Big Bear. That's what we like to call him. Big Bear. Huge.
Yeah. Okay. Well deserved, Barry. Well done.
You know what? Hey, after week 10, I have figured it out, Marcus.
Oh,
After this
really?
past week, yes, I figured it out. And Barry is the Kaiser Sose of the league.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, he lulls everyone to sleep, just thinking that they're going to have an easy win that week, and then boom! The dude, listen to this. He's got 4 wins, okay? But listen, the dude beat undefeated at the time, Vagrant Vivek.
Yeah.
He embarrasses the only 3-time champ in the league after just getting completely roasted during the week. That made Jeff Ross blush. And he even beat the coolest guy in the league early on. But in week 10, his win over the mean queen mad scientist was just a kick in the nuts.
Ouchtown population, you bro.
Yeah.
Jeff was coming off 2 impressive victories over me, of course, and some other guy in the league. Then he was sure smelling himself. Then in walks Barry with his limp.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of a sudden his back straightens up and he slaps the mad scientist in the face. Bam!
WWE style. Maybe even almost
he-
Kurt Gibson style.
Then he deletes his thread, right? Turning Jeff's team back into the average Joes at 5-5.
Yeah.
But, so, we have our Sharon Cox GMs of the week, Jake and Barry. Who would have ever thought we'd have put them 2 in the same sentence?
Eskimo brothers now for life. You know, that doesn't go away.
Yes, for life.
Yeah,
But
for
I gotta
life.
say this. Marcus, for being such a great sport and failing to win your second GM of the Week award, I do have a nice parting gift for you. A couple of nice parting gifts.
Oh,
in
gee.
the form of J&B highest points of the week.
I'm just really high.
And the biggest blowout.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Hank accomplished this feat no more than a week ago, but you are 193 points is the absolute highest point total this year. So you've got that going for you, which is nice.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Oh.
And even though Flip-Flops, got to give him some props
He
for
did have a good game. He had a good
a
week.
commendable 138 points this week, which was really impressive considering the 68 he had last week. But you still blew him out by 55. You blew him out by 55.
Yeah.
So congratulations to your 2 awards. I hope you enjoy your parting gifts, even though you didn't win GM of the
I got to tell you, you know what I had visions of, and maybe I shouldn't say this because I don't want to give myself the Maloika, but after the 100 points on Thursday night, I was going to introduce what I wanted to do. I was hoping for a DP and a half so that we can come up with a new award, and I wanted to. I was going to ask if we could call it the Shaka, because if getting double and a half times your score doesn't equate to 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink, I don't know what does. But alas, I don't get to use it.
Write that down.
But we
Write
can
that
keep
down.
it for further reference for down the road. I think that should be
Yeah.
the criteria. 2.5. If somebody 2.5 points you, it's the Shaka. But I didn't get to ride that. Yeah, it's a shame.
So-
That was good. That would have been good stuff.
Now we get to move on to the Creepo Pedo Charlie Orndorff saddest performance. And listen, Justin, just an incredible roast to the start of the season. I mean, your reading was on point, and most everything was hilarious. So I'm sorry that you were so sad this week. I mean, you didn't break 100. And look. I know Rob didn't either, but he's too cool to be sad.
He is
And-
cool.
And I have something for him a little later. And I know Aaron didn't either, but come on. It's Aaron. He's taken up enough of this podcast for the year. But you also have to be sad because you're right there in the playoff hunt. And then you go and lose to Jacob. As we mentioned before, he can't even spell playoff. Then this, Marcus, you understand what I'm talking about here. Then you talk about your wife and those kids.
Abu, is that motherfucker? I told you if you came back here, I was gonna throw you a beating. You better take your ass back to Calcutta before I make you choke on those rupees.
G. Papow. No one. Sorry about. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. But
Maybe a little technical difficulty. It happens. It's a big time production. It
that was
happens.
so scary for a second. But anyways, Justin, saddest performance. You're not as creepo pedo as Charlie, but you are as sad as him. So we're gonna move on to the biggest disappointment and. Hold on, Marcus. I don't know what to do. Oh, I didn't hoping this day would never come. I hate to do this. Marcus. This is the worst part of my job. Okay, it's just you know how cool this guy is. You know, you could say cooler than the other side of my pillow.
Looks like you're not sleeping well.
Yeah, Mike, I'm not sleeping well. Maybe because someone's been smoking crack in a weird void in my house again.
Okay.
But I really, really wanted him to beat Deep Throat Chopra this week. And
Dude, he came close, didn't he?
So much so, I made him an amazing trade. I gave him a quarterback 2, which he didn't have. I gave him another RB1, which was one of the top 5.
Yeah, it was a big trade.
Top
Yeah.
5, maybe top 3 running backs in the league. But here you go. No Cash Patel. He even struggled this week, right? His running backs were down. Guys who catches balls were down. Even Sam Darnold was down. I mean,
this was the week to beat him.
He only mustered a pathetic 102 points. I mean, it was the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Perfect storm. Goose did not talk to you during this time, but just like a Biden withdrawal, it was totally botched. I mean, Rob, your Rookie of the Year candidate, probably Rookie of the Year winner, he came back to earth. And then because Donald wasn't any good, Justin Jefferson wasn't any good. And, you know, maybe having Brock Byers on a bye might have stung a little bit in there. But you had no one else on your bench to blame. I mean, I really did think that Kyron was going to just explode Monday night.
I thought so too.
He could have
I thought he had
20, 25, and he was going to win it for you. I was so happy for our trade. But that Monday night game was just atrocious. I couldn't even watch. I couldn't watch, especially knowing that today, this day, was going to come for you. I'm so sorry, Rob. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that game screwed me too, man. I didn't hit my 200 plateau. I should have had it with Hill and Tua going that night.
Rob, I'm not mad. I'm just really disappointed.
Hey guys, it's Mel. I can no longer show my face around anymore as I am too embarrassed by Rob's fantasy team. So I've had to move to a secluded island where no one knows me. You see, winners just can't be married to losers. Bye!
Yeah, understandably so. You really let everybody down, not just you, man. I mean, we all wanted to see him get knocked off.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the only other person we enjoy seeing lose more than him is Aaron.
True.
And you know.
And Aaron's lost plenty of this. Aaron's lost plenty this year. So we're gonna move on to our bench of the week. Couldn't call it Bryce Young anymore because, well, he's playing now. So he sucks, but he's still playing.
True.
Anyways, and this week it's not one of the usual suspects you would see in the bench of the week lineup. You know, we've come to agreement that Barry is now our Kaiser Sose. So
yeah, I can't argue with that.
So coincidentally, the bench of the week goes to his opponent, Heated Hefe. And he had a couple of big guns riding the pine this week. 26 from Carr, 19 from Sutton. He's a guy who catches balls. Still wouldn't have been enough, but 65 points on the bench, albeit not the craziest amount on the bench this season. It's still a good chunk and enough to earn you the coveted bench of the week. The greatest trick Barry ever played was to make you think he lived above a custard shop. Which is,
oh boy.
And now we're going to round out this week's awards for week 10. And I did this one special. Weakest GM. And I had to save this one for last. You know why?
Why?
Because the pace he's on, it looks like his entire team might just finish there by the end of the season. Aaron, 89 points. Dude, I know it's better than the 60s you had the other week, but that's all you could muster was 89 points? You have done nothing to make your team better, and you keep starting Hunter Henry over Sam Laporta. This is why you keep winning these awards. You gotta think, man. Play the matchups, dude. I don't get it.
It's all about the matchups. Yeah.
You know what? Marcus, I don't think Nick Chubb's going to be the savior to your season, Aaron. So If you want to just go ahead and trade him to me, I will take it on the chin for you because that's what great leaders do. Okay? And
It's very kind of
and
you.
listen, you know what? We're all happy for you. No, you're really excited for your new dog, STD. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is.
Wait,
Puddles
I think it's-
or Switches or Swatches.
I think it's Crabs. Oh, what now?
Oh yeah.
What? Oh, Scratches. Sorry, I got confused there for a second.
Scratches?
Scratches. But hey,
That's the dog's name?
yes,
Scratches.
yes,
What kind of name is that?
his dog's name.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I got to tell you, I hope he's got better social skills than the last one.
well, let me say this. We all know you're excited for your new dog, but my offer still stands from a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, diddly-do, diddly-do, diddly-do. If you cannot stomach another one, I am very happy to put this dog of a roster down for you. I've got chickens. I've done it 100 times.
Okay.
And
Fair
unfortunately,
enough.
no wee pee-pees this week. Everyone got big pee-pees.
Oh,
So
no wee pee.
that's going to lead me into the rankings.
Listen, I hope you guys do me better than ESPN and not leave me in the same spot
It's very
after that great week.
it's very different, but sort of the same, but kind of different and totally not what you would think of because coming in at number 12, it is Kid Free is back. Maybe it's time to change your name, bro. 3 and 7. I'm sorry I had
Wow. All the way to the
I'm
bottom.
sorry I had to put you down 2 spots from the last time we did one of these rankings, but I can also put your dog of a roster down too if you need. Number 11, 3 and 7, down 2 more from the last time we did one of these, is Flip Flops. Yes, he has tied Aaron for the last in the conference, but I don't see his roster getting any better. Number 10,
Ouch.
up 2 spots, even though he's 2 and 8, the Hank comes in at number 10 because I think his roster is starting to come to form. Too little, too late, but I think his roster is getting better.
Yeah, I get that.
We're at number 9 for the I Have the Power, Apex Untouchables, 4 and 6. Hard to do, but I dropped you 4 spots, Rob.
That's a big drop.
Number 8, the Crimson Huel Dogs. He's 4 and 6 as well, but he's up 3. Only 4 wins, but all 4 of them were very impressive.
Okay.
Taking us to number 7, which is our second of the day for Sharon Cox. Grass and Jeff. Justin and the Mad Scientist both stalled out this week. They're both 5 and 5. They're both average, and they're both number 7. So,
Okay.
we get to this week's top 5. And surprising boner of the week, up 3 spots to number 5. Somehow this guy's 6 and 4, but Jake is in charge.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's making a run. That's for sure.
Biggest surprise of the season to me.
Yeah,
Number 4,
absolutely.
our top 4. You all probably know where it's at. You might know you might not know the ranking, but you know who the top 4 is. Camistro, 7 and 3. Say goodnight to the bad guy. 6 and 4. Some say you're a little too high. I say you score points, and that's what you need in this game.
Yeah.
So, coming in at number 2, Young Sheldon, 7 and 3, somehow keeps on winning. Number 2, and number 1, Control Delete. Yeah, what do you got next, Marcus? That's it all. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. I'm glad we don't need to elaborate on that. And so, wait. So, we got a couple of things we need to get into here. First is I've got a few things, and then we do have to talk about some of the big matchups this week because there's a couple of huge ones. We're one in the NFL and one in this league. But first, I got up this week. I want to talk about the officiating in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. But the big thing I want to point is on, could somebody please explain to us, well, they haven't answered our letters yet, but maybe it'll come back, some form of communication. Explain to us the purpose of replay assist and why is it so selective in its usage? Why is it okay for a guy to talk in this clown's ear, hey, asshole, you missed this holding on this guy with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter, but with the game on the line on a 2-point conversion with 3 penalties happening in the same place at the same time, this Yahoo can't pay. Hey, stupid, how'd you miss that? All right, Mr. Magoo, we got a holding a face mask and we got an illegal hands to the face. Would you call one of them, please, so we can get the outcome of the game right? I think it's ridiculous how selective it is. I don't understand why it just is. It should just be, just take it out of these clowns' hands. If they miss it, buzz the guy in his ear and then boom, call it. And that's it. You got 10 seconds after play, and especially when when the outcome of the game is at risk. I mean, they totally picked the Bengals' pockets the other night. You can't not call that. I get not calling pass interference unless it's absolutely necessary on a Hail Mary, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a desperation play to salvage the game. So I get that. There's a certain amount of tolerance I have for not calling it on that play. But when a team has done what they've had to do to put themselves in position to win the game, then you know what? If you're not going to let them have an impact on the outcome, take the officials off the field. Take them off.
Agreed.
If you're going for a 2-point conversion to win the game, get off the field. Just get off, and whatever happens on the field. Because if you obviously don't give a shit anyway, because you're not going to call it. I'm sorry. 3 in the same frame at the same time that determines the outcome of a game. Same thing happened with the Chiefs a few weeks ago. You just can't have this happen.
But it wasn't just that game. The Eagles game.
It happens all over the place.
Against Jacksonville, when Barkley fumbled, he was clearly on the ground. He was clearly touched, and they changed the rules in the middle of the game to say, "Oh, that wasn't a continuation or whatever." It happens all the time. There's so many it was no more blatant than what happened to Joe Burrow and his face masks and all that. It's insane. The officiating is terrible, and I don't know how they would replace them with robots like they're going to do in Major League Baseball at some point. But the officiating has to realize, just like basketball, just like baseball, just like football, no one is there to see you. If it's blatant, call it. But stop with the ticky-tack and then the total misses on some stuff. It's just unbelievable.
It's terrible, and hopefully they'll put a plan in place to really try to combat that, because it really just takes away from it, and it's not good. It's just not good. It's just terrible, and there's something they have to do.
Let me answer your question. The state of officiating is terrible.
It was terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, I think we can definitely agree about that. All right, so this is fun. This is interesting. And it messes up the point now, because people whined about Todd Bowles a couple of weeks ago going for the tie on the road, and maybe that's why. Because even if you get penalized on a 2-point conversion, you're not going to get it. And then the guy from the Bengals goes for it, which is what everybody just wants to see. And then you have the announcers, well, maybe he should have gone for it. He should have just taken the point and went to overtime. Which one is it, guys? Is it go for it for 2 or go for the tie? It's just ridiculous how they just roll with whatever can seem controversial or to cause people to debate it. It's one or the other, guys. Pick. It's one or the other. And now, I mean, they got their pocket picked, I think, in Cincinnati, and it sucks because it's not just impact the game. It has a negative impact on the outcome of their season.
True.
Which is just not fair. And then what is the NFL going to say? Tough shit, tough noogies now. Sorry. So you guys, those guys are on TV land. Pick one. Go for it for 2 or go for the tie. Don't wish-you-wash depending on what happens.
Right.
Make a stand. I am pro on the road. For the record, on the road, you go for the win. And against the Chiefs, it doesn't matter where you are. Go for the win, because you're not going to get a chance in overtime.
Exactly.
You're just not. because you're playing the Chiefs and the referees. Against anybody else, if I'm on the road, I'm going for the win. If I'm at home and my defense is playing well, then I go for the tie. But I'm not.
Or if you're Nick Sirianni, you just go for 2 all the time.
which I don't disagree with either. I am not opposed to that kind of strategy. It's like, what was that guy in college? I think it was a college or high school coach that didn't believe in punting. So they just never punted. They always went for it on fourth down.
Let me ask you this. If you can hear me okay. Let me ask you if you think this would be an interesting little rule, right? If you score first a touchdown and you decide that you go for 2, if the other team then scores, they have to go for 2 because you went for 2. There's no choice of I'm just going to kick it. And then it changes after that. It's like score for score, right? So let's say your team scores, you go for 2, you miss it. The other team scores, a play or 2 later, and they have to go for 2 because you went for 2. Then it resets. So if your team scores the next touchdown after that and they decide to kick it, and then my team scores, I get the decision again. I can go for 2 if I want, or just
but I could also
go ahead and kick it. And then it resets. I think something like that was cool. That the resetting might be a little bit deeper into the rule, but I kind of like that. Like if you go for 2 and you scored first, the other team has to go for 2 because college overtime does it. At some point everybody has to go for 2. So
yeah, I think it's cool. But my personal stance on overtime is I don't like the first team to score a touchdown win. I think it should be a 10-minute quarter. A 10-minute period, and then whoever's winning at the end of those 10 minutes wins the game. I mean, they whine about the players and the physical damage, and I mean, it's I get it, but even making a 9-minute, I don't know. I just think it should be a quarter that's established, and it shouldn't just be a one possession to decide the outcome of a game. There's too few games.
Yeah.
To put that much risk for that. And I don't like the tie thing. All right, so next we're gonna I got here and it's just annoying. We're gonna talk about some head coaches. So we got Shane, is it Steichen, whatever. Steichen. Everybody knows his quarterback of the future stinks. And he has to call Jim Irsay to let him know he's changing the quarterback. My question is why? He stinks. You hired me. I mean, my guess is Shane Steichen's probably making quite a bit more than minimum wage.
Yeah.
He's not asking for permission to turn the fryer on at McDonald's because that's part of his job.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. Come on, show some sack, man. I hate it. I hate it when we see these guys that are in high-profile positions going to these. First off, Jim Irsay's a high drunk. He's an idiot. And so that's like me going to. I got a bonsai tree. That's like me going to my bonsai tree to let him know when I'm going to take a shit. It just doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. Show some sack and take the locker room. I mean, I am a firm believer that guys that have to go to the owner to advise them of decisions that they are making based on the job that they were hired to do, I just think it's not a good. I just think it doesn't show well. I think it doesn't show well. I think if you want to tell Anthony Richardson, listen, you're benched because you stink and you got to do this, this, and this, and this. And then you want to keep your boss in the loop and say, hey, man, listen, I don't have to tell you this guy stinks. You see it. I see it. He's not ready. So anyhow, FYI, see, but to tell him first, the same thing Woody Johnson calls that idiot Aaron Rodgers before he fires Robert Saleh. Why is he making that call?
I don't want to hurt his feelings.
What is he calling him for?
I don't want to hurt his feelings.
I don't want you don't want your has-been quarterback who's not playing well. You don't want his feelings hurt. It's stupid. These guys, these billionaire owners put themselves in these positions to have people that they pay millions of dollars cater to their ego over stupid stuff. And you know what they both have in common? Like you say it, To quote the commish, loser organizations.
Boom.
That's what they do. That's what they do. You think you see Mike Tomlin calling the Roonies? You think Mike Tomlin called? I don't even like Mike Tomlin, but do you think he called the Roonies before he decided to put Russell Wilson in charge? No. You know what? Not a loser organization. That's the difference. When you're calling the owner to advise him of things that you were hired to take control of, you have all of a sudden planted the seed. Well, in Indianapolis case, that weed has been growing rampant since Peyton Manning left. And he'll be the first one to tell you Irsay's an idiot drunk, if he's being honest.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing that you can do. Take control of the locker. This idiot McCarthy, Ezekiel Elliott, late for 3 meetings. We're going to bench him for 1 game. What?
Garbage.
Why is he still on the roster? You think he could get away with that with Jimmy Johnson? Do you remember that story about the Patriots? About a guy who was late to practice within like 16 inches of snow on the ground, and they cut off his ID so he couldn't get into the facility. Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
the old man got to work. Tom Brady got to work. You can't get to work on time.
Remember when
Get the fuck out. Then they cut him.
When Jimmy Johnson cut a guy because he took a nap in one of the meetings?
Yeah. So I like that.
Yeah.
Let's get back to it's a real man sport. Let's get back to running it like real men. First off, Ezekiel Elliott's not a star anymore.
We need to put in.
He's nobody. He's a scrub.
Awful.
He's a scrub. You know what that he should have did? Well, McCarthy's going to get fired anyway, which is even more confusing. You know the writing's on the wall, so you know what? I'm going out in a blaze of glory. Oh, what happened? Zeke's here. He said he got cut. Yeah, I cut that motherfucker. He sucks. Click. I gotta go. I'm busy. Yeah. I mean, you're going to get fired anyway. It's not changing the outcome of that marriage in Dallas. And let's face it, he's probably not going to get hired anyplace else anyway. So go out with some cojones, man. Take control of your locker room.
Exactly.
No, the guy was late for a meeting. I don't get. Maybe once, if he's late because one of his hoes told him she's having his baby, he swears that baby don't look like me. He had to go to a child support arraignment or some shit like that. Once. That's it, brother. That's it. And then you got to make it up to the team somehow. But no. I'm sick of these. I'm sick of reading about this guy's calling this guy. And I had to make Mr. Irsay aware that we were going to demote Anthony Richardson. Well, who's running the team? Who's running the team?
Exactly.
Those organizations, that's what they do.
More than
that's all my thing. Anyway, let me see if I don't know if I had anything else. I think I've rambled on a lot, made up for a couple
more
of
than just a hat rack up here, my friend. Loser organizations, more than just a hat rack.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. It's just it's annoying.
While you're looking at your notes, how about Tyreek Hill blaming the cops arresting him on him not being able to catch passes because they heard my arrest when they arrested me.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this. I have a soft spot for Tyreek. I scouted him. I knew this guy was going to be a star the first time I saw him in a preseason game. Right. If I had seen him in college, I probably would have saw it. And we've got to have some people look into that. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm biased. 9 times out of 10, I am pro Tyreek. I'm sorry. We all got our boys. That's my boy.
It's funny.
I'm sorry. I think I don't think it's funny. I think if there was an injustice done, then shit needs to happen.
Well, hey,
but
you know what?
He needs to start catching passes for me because I made a big trade for him.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was my cementing my plight to win this thing. And it's got to work out. It still will, but you're not gonna be able to con me into saying anything bad about Tyreek. Okay. I can't do it.
Okay, I still think it's funny.
Not him.
You got arrested and he can't catch passes because his wrist hurts. But anyways, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get out of here, and we're going to preview this upcoming week. Again, we got a couple weeks before the playoffs. I think there's 3 more weeks before playoffs hit.
Man, the season goes by so quick.
It seems like we just had the draft party. So,
yep.
But speaking of Clash of the Titans, not only do we have some Clash of the Titans in the NFL, Ravens, Steelers, Eagles, Commanders. We're going to have a couple of clashes here.
Ooh, and that's tonight, I think, Eagles, Commanders, right?
you probably won't see this until after the game, but Clash of the Titans in Yomo. Your mom has a clash this week as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
You against what is? I don't even know what his team name is.
It's Control Alt Delete, and I hope to reset his entire roster after this weekend. But I gotta tell you, I don't feel good. It's within the margin of error. I'm predicted to lose by 4. But if I can get, I'm seeing everything about A-Chain this week. It's supposed to be the number 1 running back of the week with all the gurus, and you know what? It's going to be my luck that he had the worst week of his career or of his season last week against Rob, and this week I guarantee you, because it's how it goes with the Comistro, I guarantee you everybody's going to blow up on his roster. And I traded for Derrick Henry, and I thought he was going to score more points last week, and I thought Hank was going to pull it out. I'm still scoring points, but I can't call this game because I'm a part of it, but I just hate the fact that I already know what's going to happen. All his guys are going to go off, and I'm going to be watching all the TVs, right? And every time I look at the screen, I'm going to see A-Chain scoring a touchdown. Then I'm going to look at another screen. I'm going to see Donald throwing touchdown passes, and it's insane, right? And now he's got George Kittle and Dalton Kincaid as his tight ends. I mean, I hope you struggle to figure out which one you want to play, and it's the wrong choice. But
yeah, and how about that text he sent on the thread the other day? Oh, these guys are all available for trade. That's like saying, hey, you know what? Why don't I just put a picture of the inside of my trash bag in my office and say this is all available for sale on Craigslist Marketplace? Nobody wants that crap. Maybe George Kittle, maybe. Yeah. If you get lucky and he scores touchdowns in 1 week, you need him.
I told him I would take Kittle, but he wouldn't give him. But hey, again, my offer still stands. I will take it on the chin for you and Aaron. I will. You can go ahead and just
so kind of
throw
you.
Nick Chubb my way, throw Kittle my way. You turn down my trade.
Yeah. What is this? I
tried to see if you would do it before they announced he was going to be the starter, and you turned me down cold.
Who's going to be the starter?
Anthony Richardson.
Oh, you see, I didn't get that memo.
Oh, see,
people haven't gotten me that. See, I didn't know that. I knew that. I watched a little bit of the Flacco at first. First off, I tried to trade for Richardson a couple of weeks ago.
So did I.
And your boy over there just wanted too much for a guy that wasn't even a starter anymore. So screw him. But anyway, so I ended up getting him for nothing. And
I thought I was going to be able to do the same thing, get him for nothing, but you ended up grabbing him before I did. So.
Yeah, and then I saw Flacco's one game, and I was like, he's just old, man. And if even if he plays well, he's probably going to get hurt, and we'll see. But I really only need him for 1 week, so I'm hoping he paid attention, and maybe I can plug him in when Lamar's off. But we'll see. But I ended up getting him for nothing, so who knows?
Well, I can't call that game because I'm a part of it. But I'm going to say Jake's in charge, playing the Mad Scientist. I think that's another Clash of the Titans.
Wait, listen. Can I call your game?
Sure.
All right, so I'm gonna call it for you, and I'm gonna tell you why, because because it's money time now, and so your mindset matters, and the reality is, if you beat him, it's going to crush him. Like, he may need to go on a barefoot retreat where they only serve plant-based meals for a few days to rebuild his mental state back up. So I'm pulling for you, and I'm calling it for you. I think this sends him into chaos mode. Like, oh my God, I'm getting close, but I'm going to blow it again. So I'm calling it for you this week.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't feel it, but hey, I hate Thursday night games.
Good. That's a good sign.
I hate Hurts on a Thursday night game. I always feel like guys don't score a lot, last week aside. But anyways.
And what happened over there in Philly? Weren't you guys calling a fire Sirianni 6 weeks
not
ago?
Me.
Is that still
I've
a
always
thing?
liked Nick. I mean, you go back and watch he's got a very Philadelphia attitude. So anyways,
okay.
Jake's in charge, Mad Scientist. I also think that's a big game.
I actually want Jeff to win.
Really?
I need distance between me.
Oh,
I need distance between me and the guys behind me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm rooting for guys that are behind me to lose.
Very surprised about that, but I don't know. I see Jake is within the margin of error, but I have to say, Mad Scientist, I think he, barring any buys, doesn't look like he has too many buys, so I think he takes it. Flippity Flops plays Grass. I think it's a chance for Grass to kind of turn it around and make another run back to the playoffs. I think he's the 6th seed right now, so I think he's got a good chance of getting in. So that's a good game for him. Barry gets to play Aaron again. You notice Aaron hasn't talked much this time, and I think Barry still has a slim chance to get in. Purdy and Russell Wilson are looking pretty good at the 1 and 2 QBs, so I think he pulls this one out again. I don't think he blows him out as much, but Aaron, that roster, it needs to get put down, son. And unfortunately, young Sheldon plays Hank. You know what? Hank is predicted to win this one right now. I haven't looked at the rosters. I think Hank, if Patty and Herbert show up, I think he has a chance to pull the upset. I like to see
that would be great for me, man. I would love to see it as well.
I want to go to Hank. He almost had me this week, but his roster's starting to form out. I'm going to take the Hank with the big upset over young Sheldon, and we all want that.
I like it.
And then Say Goodnight plays the coolest guy around, and unfortunately...
He is really cool.
Unfortunately, I think Rob's going to lose again. So, that's going to round out this week. We heard the rants from the bad guy. We got the awards. We got the predictions for next week. We are ready to sign off, I believe, unless you have anything else.
No, I don't. You know, I do want to do. We did a Moneyball thing real quick there before, and I based on what we did today with the I'd like to see more coaches take the Moneyball mindset as far as doing business with these guys. If you don't want your manager to start a player, trade him.
You can't start Pena first tonight. You'll have to start Hatterberg.
Yeah, I don't want to go 15 rounds, Billy. The lineup card is mine, and that's all.
Okay, lineup card is definitely yours. I'm just saying you can't start Pena first.
Well, I am starting him at first. I don't think so. He plays for Detroit now.
Get rid of him.
Buzz the tower.
Don't give him the option. That's the best way to take control of it. Last line from there. You go into the living room. You tell these people that when you know, and the reality is you don't.
Buzz the tower.
Some of these guys don't know. All right, guys. Till next week. Have a good one. Good luck, everybody. Finally, the Steelers find a way to blow it against the Ravens, even though all things say that they should win, because that's what Tomlin does. Have a good one, guys.
Pay me my money. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right. Nice, man. I am dangerous.